Hi and welcome to the first in a series of videos that Teresa and I are putting together for you as a means of helping you deal with being on your own, isolated, and helping you to deal with musculoskeletal problems and manage your pain if you are struggling at the moment with any particular discomfort. We're going to do a series of videos, as I said before, and we're going to start today looking at the most basic of movements, which is breathing, and the value of healthy breathing, good breathing, both on the function of the lungs themselves and the importance of improving the way in which we make use of our lung space to breathe, but also in the context of relaxation and helping us to control and manage stress if we are feeling stressed at the moment. And also thinking about mindfulness and being able to think about your body and concentrating on things like breathing as a way of relaxing, as a way of helping you manage pain if you are living in pain. All of these are useful tools, and we're also going to look at that relaxing breathing. And then in the next short video, we're going to look at active breathing. So breathing in a way that helps you recruit all elements of the breathing system, the muscles and the joints, and the contents and areas of the thorax through which you breathe so that you're breathing fully and properly. But to start off, we're going to talk about just relaxing breathing. Now, as I said to you before, being able to take a good deep breath is really helpful. The reason being is that by breathing deeply into your diaphragm, which is a muscle that sits in the chest around about this point here and runs down around the border of your rib cage and attaches to your spine, by using this big muscle, we can relax and stretch it. Now that's beneficial because it helps with how that muscle works. When we breathe in, the muscle flattens. When we breathe out, the muscle rises. But what can often happen when we are stressed, or if we change the way we use our bodies, so a lot of sitting, for example, can cause compression of the abdomen and the abdominal cavity, and that can have an effect on how much the diaphragm moves. Now, over time, that can mean that the diaphragm tends to get tighter and less flexible. And like any muscle, the less we use it, the stiffer it gets, the less effective it is. And consequently, we tend to then use other muscles that perhaps are better suited to other jobs. So if you think about breathing, what you often think of with breathing is the rib cage and the upper part of your chest here. But of course, it's everything within the thorax. The ribs all come down around your sides and at the back. The diaphragm, as I say, and then all the muscles that come up into the neck. A common consequence of being stressed, and many of you will know about this, is the fact that we begin to use the muscles in the neck to breathe. Now these muscles help with breathing. They're designed to help a little bit, but they're also muscles that move and control the position of your head. So the more we rely on them for breathing, the stiffer and tighter they can get. And that means that then that affects your neck. So for people with neck pain, sometimes changing the way you breathe can help take the tension away from your neck muscles, and that can help improve neck flexibility and neck range of movement, and that can benefit with helping you with pain. And the same with discomfort and tightness across your trapezii, the muscles of the shoulder across the top of your backs here, and the shoulder blades. Again, we often find our shoulders up around our ears when we're stressed, and that's part of this reaction to protective reaction to stress, but also to how we begin to breathe. And again, by being able to relax the shoulders and breathe deeply into the diaphragm, we can manage that tension, and it can diminish our feelings of discomfort or tightness that can then help influence our pain. So what we're going to start off with is a very simple exercise, and I'm going to use Teresa as a model to demonstrate the technique itself. And it is very, very simple. And as I say, it's about taking a lungful of air, so really expanding your lungs, helping use your full lung capacity to breathe deeply whilst stretching particular muscles. So there are a number of ways you can do this, and it's also a useful technique, and we'll talk about this in a moment, to help you think about coughing. So if you're affected with a cold, or if unfortunately you've succumbed to the coronavirus, you'll be coughing a lot. And coughing can be very uncomfortable, particularly with discomfort or pain in the thorax or back. So you can adjust your coughing technique to use the diaphragm rather than the rib muscles and the neck muscles, and that can be helpful in avoiding too much pain. But we're going to start with this simple breathing exercise. And there are two ways you can do this. I tend to have my patients adopt one hand on their upper chest and one hand on their tummy. So Teresa's going to adopt that position. And the reason why we do this is that it allows us to monitor the upper ribs in this area here and the diaphragm in this area here. And the concept is really simple. Many of you will know this concept, particularly if you do yoga or relaxation techniques for mindfulness, but I'm just going to go through it anyway. And the concept is that you imagine that your stomach is a balloon. There's a balloon inside your abdomen. And when you breathe in, you want that balloon to blow up, to inflate. And what you should feel as you do that is your tummy almost bulging out. So this hand here is monitoring the filling of this balloon, the expansion of your diaphragm and rib cage lower down. The hand higher up here is to monitor the ribs and the upper chest. So you don't want your ribs and upper chest doing all the moving and your tummy doing nothing. You want your tummy to do most of the movement, and it's only really until the very end of breathing that you want to be feeling the rib cage up here beginning to lift. Now this is part of the chest that we use more for expansive breathing when we're exercising or very, very active. So it shouldn't be lifting up and down all the time. It's a reserve capacity almost. In a later video, we'll talk about how you engage that properly as part of a breathing cycle. But for the moment, we're going to just use it as a monitoring tool. So Teresa's now demonstrating the technique as what I'm talking about it. And you may be able to see on the video, and what we might do is turn the chair to the side in a moment so you can see what's happening. But Teresa's monitoring with her right hand here, making sure that the ribs aren't rising. And her left hand, you may see, is filling out. As the tummy, as this balloon fills, it pushes the tummy wall out, and her hand is moving away from her abdomen. And that gives her a good indication that her diaphragm is active. So it's moving down, it's pushing on the tummy contents, all the organs and viscera that are in there, and it's pushing outwards. It can only go so far down, it's got to go out through the tummy. So if your tummy's relaxed, and again, this is a useful technique for helping relax the abdominal muscles, it's a very effective way of controlling and using the diaphragm for breathing. So another thing that Teresa's doing is she's breathing in through her nose and out through her mouth. So this is a good way of controlling breath in, because the nose slows down the speed of the filling of the lungs. And then breathing out through the mouth frees the breath quickly so the lungs can relax and the diaphragm can rise up. And it's important you're not puffing, because that then tends to use the upper ribs more. You want to make sure that the breath is as full as you can get it. Now, one thing that people also notice if they are tight through the diaphragm is they'll take a short breath, and when they get to the end of the breath, it feels a bit like this. There's a judder to it, as if the breath isn't really getting past a certain point. Again, that can be indicative that the diaphragm's a bit tight, so it's only contracting so far, and then it's kind of stuck. And it's not really stuck, it's just a bit tight, and it's not used to being stretched and contracted, that much. But the more you practice this breathing, the smoother that breath will become. And you should find over a period of days and weeks that you're able to really, really extend your breathing down into your abdomen. So I'm going to ask Teresa just to turn her chair slightly to the right so that you can perhaps get a better view. So she's going to turn in that direction, not fully to your right. And you just watch her left hand. So watch this hand as she breathes in. And you can see that it moves forwards. Now, it's not a forceful thing. She's not pushing her tummy out as if she was trying to make herself look plump. It's the action of the diaphragm pushing on those viscera and stretching the tummy muscles. It's important that you think about your posture doing this. So you don't want to be slouched. The more slouched you are, the harder it is to engage the diaphragm, because everything is squashed in your abdomen. So sit up tall, and a backed chair like this is useful. You can do it in an armchair, you can have cushions to support you, wherever you're most comfortable. I wouldn't recommend doing it on a couch, because you'll tend to sit very low and that squashes things up. It's also a really useful technique for helping you get to sleep. So if your mind is worrying with everything that's going on in the world, this technique can help you bring focus. So you're thinking about where your breath is going. You're focusing on the diaphragm. You're thinking, I can feel the breath entering through my nose, filling up my lungs like a refreshing wave. And as I breathe out, I'm blowing away that stress. I'm getting rid of that tension. And that cycle of breathing in and relaxing, freshening, and then breathing out, exhaling, letting the tension leave your body, is a very, very sensible and useful tool to help you get to sleep. And it's used a lot in meditation. Of course, if you meditate, you'll know this back to front. But it's a very useful thing to focus on your breath and allow your mind just to focus on your breathing rather than wandering off into all the things you think you should be doing or all the things that are worrying you. Just try and bring yourself back to your breath with every inhalation and exhalation. And that's a very, very effective meditation type technique. You can do it with your eyes closed. And again, that helps with focusing. Make sure you're in a quiet place. You're not distracted by your mobile phone or the television or the cat or the dog. The children are locked away somewhere. No one's going to interrupt you when you do this. So that you can get a good 5-10 minutes of just gentle, focused breathing as a means of relaxing. So that in a nutshell is diaphragmatic breathing, and it's a very, very useful tool. A lot of people I give it to have low back pain, and it's helpful for relaxing the low back and the muscles around there. And it can also be used in the context of dealing with pelvic pain or a pelvic floor dysfunction, and also with neck pain and possibly even headaches where we're getting pain coming up from the neck itself. I hope you find that helpful. If you want to contact us for any further advice about breathing or have any instruction, you can contact us through our email at practice appointments@theosteopath.co.uk, or of course you can ring us on 0141 887 3734. We will do our very best to get back to you. We're also planning on doing some online work using interactive conversations and meetings. We're trialing something on Monday, which that's Monday, I can't remember what the date is on Monday, but Monday coming. So if you'd like to join us, simply go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, and we'll be letting you know what's happening. And we're going to be running a question and answer session for people who visit and join us to help them ask questions about what they're struggling with in terms of musculoskeletal pain. So if you know us as a patient and you want to ask us questions, it's a perfect opportunity. If you're new to the practice and you'd like to find out a bit more about what we do, then please join us. We'll be happy to speak with you. And we look forward to seeing you soon, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to caring for you more directly in the future. Thank you for listening.